data-informed. Thank you for the recording. Yeah. Fahima is a dedicated consultant for business intelligence and efficiency. She helps various organizations by transforming complicated processes into smooth and collaborative systems that bring out important and practical insights. With over 20 years of experience in improving businesses, she combines her technical data skills with proven tools to unlock hidden potential within organizations and their operations. So we're so happy to have Fahima with us today. Finally, our session today's insights sharing is going to start. Please scan the QR code to access the Slido to asking questions at any time during this session. And also you can entering this code on slido.com. Finally, let's welcome Fahima to start her insights sharing. Fahima, over to you.
Thank you. I'm just wondering that, Elena, have you got any question? Because the hand is raised in your profile before me starting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, sorry.
Mistake. No worries.
I was quite concerned about that. That's all right.
Oh, good.
Let's get into the presentation, and I hope that is sharing now.
Yep, we can see you now.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for inviting me and having me here for this webinar. I really appreciate your time joining this webinar, and thank you for the BA Career Group, Sophie and her team, to invite and arranging this webinar. In this webinar, I am going to cover one of the top skills which elevates your role as a business analyst in different ways. For example, your engagement level, your communication with the wider group, or leading the journey of the problem solving in your business, in your project. According to the title of this webinar, as you see, that skill is about the lean thinking. Let's see what does that mean and why is it important to you. In the journey of the lean thinking, if you look up for the definition, it could be quite overwhelming when we look at it in Google, for example, or asking even ChatGPT these days. So you may get different definition, like saying that lean thinking is a way of thinking about creating required value with minimum waste or minimum inefficiencies. Or other definition like lean is a practice consisting of continuous experimentation to achieve perfect value with minimum waste. But to me, how I do define it, I would say that lean thinking is a mindset of continuous improvement, which only occurs with practice. If we don't have that ability to put that one in practice, we are like a sparky or a plumber going to resolve the problem, going to the project without having our toolbox. So we don't know how to use that mindset. We don't know how to put our learning or our new mindset into practice. This is quite a common misunderstanding because we have got numbers of the people that they are really great. They are certified in Lean or even Six Sigma, but when it's come to their roles and responsibilities or even their leadership style, they struggle. They are quite challenged that, okay, what does that mean outside of their head? Okay, how to use it, how to demonstrate that they are lean thinker or they are lean leader. In this presentation, in this webinar, I covered numbers of the lean tools that they are quite practical and simple for you to make sure that you are equipped with some of the tools to go and start your transformation journey. While I want you to enjoy it, okay? Sometimes we make the journey quite overwhelming, so it's not going to add value to you, and I don't want to make it quite complicated. That's why I choose a specific tools for the purpose of this webinar. From the lens of business analysis, what is the value in lean thinking for you? Let me just take you through the day when we are dealing with lots of digital disruption. Okay, so we are expected to do more in minimum amount of time. We are dealing with numbers of the changes on a daily basis in the system, in the processes, even in the strategic level of the business operational model. That means that we no longer have business as usual. So business analysis as usual is not really exist any longer, yeah? So how to deal and cope with that level of the changes, it is quite challenging. We are human. If we don't have that mindset, that flexibility, we may keep resisting to those changes. Lean thinking and its principle are the response to all of those ever increasing pace of change, because it is a systemic approach. It is going to equip you and empowering you to continuously improving the processes, eliminating the waste, and optimizing the value that you are delivering within your organization and your customers. So to look at the new lens, when you have got the lean thinking, how is going to be your vision? It's like going to the optic shop and buying a new glasses. That new lens of the lean is a new equipment that is going to help you to look up for any non-value added activities and keep looking for any challenges, for any waste, for any inefficiencies, to make sure that you are keeping the processes and operational level more effective and productive. So where to start? Is it simple? Is it challenging? What should you be aware of? It's so simple, okay? I hope that, I assume for you and the background where you are coming from, I'm sure that is quite simple. It does resonate a lot to your role as a BA with the background of the business analysis. Business analysts can get lots of benefits from adopting the core lean thinking principles. And those core principles are illustrated in this slide, which is adapted from the source that is addressed from Womack and Jones. But what does that mean? What is the value in these principles? How that works in the lean culture, or when you are a lean thinker, how that sets of the principles is going to help you with operating better. To gain that, to have a better understanding, I would like you walk with me to your favorite cafe, okay? Let's watch and observe when you enter to the cafe, how they're gonna interact with you. Who's come to look after you? There is a set of standard practices introduced to look after the customers in the cafe. And those sets of the practices are designed and defined based on, first of all, clarifying the value of their cafe and their food, their orders, their products and services for their customers. So when you sit at the table and the waitress coming to grab your order, that is the time that they map the order. They analyze what you require. And again, they have got a standard logic that they follow for taking notes. That standard taking notes, a standard approach for mapping the order is sitting at the heart of the value stream mapping. Just a little bit of the briefing. If you don't know what is this value stream mapping, my assumption is that you as a BA, you are quite familiar with stream mapping, which is the visual technique you take, you implement to analyze the requirement for delivery of the product, for example, to analyze the requirement for delivery of the services. So that's a visual technique that enables you to understand and pass the information to the rest of the workflow, making sure that, for example, the product design group, they understand what are the requirements for that specific product. In the cafe example is exactly the same. Is that note taking has got a standard level of the writing the information based on a specific logic. They don't jump around starting from the, for example, main and then saying that what you want for a starter or what you want for drink. So they follow the right order and they take notes if there is some symbol, for example, they can use or abbreviation they use that is meaningful to the rest of the workflow. They are going to highlight it on the piece of the paper. So from that order that was analyzed, was mapped on the piece of the paper, watch for the flow, how the waitress is going to pass that information to the kitchen. If the right flow is existing in the system, in the cafe, so your order is not going to get lost, because sometimes you see that, okay, the order disappeared, they forget about that. That is the problem with the flow. Bad flow means that it's going to create the backlog, is going to create the bottleneck in the process. Yeah, so the information hasn't been handled and handed to the right group for delivery and designing of your product or your order. But when it's come to the pool, it's quite interesting. I'm not sure that how many of you've been watching the kitchen when you go to the cafe. Can you tell me, anyone been quite curious to see how they attach the order to the top of the curtain roll at the window, which is, the window is the connection in between the kitchen and the dining area? Anyone been watching that exercise? Yeah. So they stick those orders to that curtain rod or curtain rail, and kitchen people are familiar with the language of what has been mapped in the piece of the note. They can follow it because it follows the right logic. They know that where they have to read, if there is any specific customized details like a dietary requirement, for example, has been highlighted on the order, they know that when they pull it from that curtain curtain rail, then they know that, okay, where to start for putting the ingredient together, passing to the next person for the cooking process. So this is all about that 4 principles. Easily, when you go to the cafe and grab your coffee, just watch for that exercise or the practice. Majority of the cafes and breweries, they follow the lean in the heart of their businesses, in their operational model, without even knowing the term is lean. Okay, lean been introduced to even to the design of the restaurants almost 2 decades ago, when it was born in manufacturing, and how that influenced the design of the restaurants is that little window that is connecting the kitchen and the dining area. And what's the purpose, do you reckon? Does anyone know that why they changed the design into this approach? Anyone can unmute and share something?
Yeah, minimize handoffs.
Okay. Anything else related to lean concept, do you reckon? Transparency and visibility. Yeah. Connecting their staff with the customers in the dining area, that means that they want to create that trust with their customers, that we are doing our job. People, they can watch them, that how they hard working in the high temperature room, to set up their order. So the appreciation is gonna be there and different feeling is gonna be created in such an environment. So that is something that I say lean is there at the heart of their design, their operational model, but not necessarily being introduced with the same terminology. It could be, they call it as a QMS, for example, in New Zealand. Yeah, they say that we follow the quality management system. So the last principle, perfection. Again, I think that is quite familiar to you as a business analyst. When you go through the feedback loop, okay, that is exactly in response to the perfection principle, because lean is encouraging us to seek for perfection, to identify opportunities where we can improve the way that we are working, the way that we are living, the way that even we are thinking. But the challenging point here is the readiness of the culture. If we are dealing, let's get back to the cafe as an example, where we started watching the principles of lean. If the cafe has got the right culture, so they come usually to the table and ask for your feedback. They are quite open. They want to grab your feedback, understanding that how do you feel, what's your experience today or tonight with their food and their services. So that's one of the things, the openness of them to come to the customer and asking for their feedback. But we could have a challenging environment that they don't care about the feedback, even in many of the organizations. So it's something that we've been working, all the way through the last decade. As I can recall, it's been all about the transformation, openness, transparency, making sure that we are going to listen to the voice of the internal team, to the voice of the customers. So the reason is just because we want to seek for the perfection. We want to find room for improvement. So that's all about the, principles, which, when you go to the cafe, just repeat this story in your head and you're going to get used to it and you can define it in your daily practice in your career. But as I promised, I said that this webinar is not going to leave you with the history of the lean and the philosophy and theory. You can go and search and read those sort of things, numbers of different sources in internet or library. But the most important things to me is to make sure you have got some gears and tools in your hands that is going to help you, equip you to start your journey of transformation. For the purpose of this webinar, based on the researches and experiences that I have with my clients and my project, I consider 4 critical tools to take you through the journey, which they are visual management, problem-solving canvas or A3 solution, waste analysis, and 5S. So I'm going to take you through each of them. And again, each of them, they are available for free at the moment in my website. You can go and download the template and additional information, which I'm sure that it's been written and designed in a very simple, basic to help enabling you starting with your journey. So one of the framework of lean that I want to just make it clear that when I go through every single tool, I'm going to follow this framework. I'm going to explain about why, giving you the reason, making sure that I am clarifying the value of that tool before saying that how to use it. Okay, that is another aspect of lean. For example, in the world of the digital transformation, if we want to bring in more buyers to our solutions, to our integration journey, so we have to be able to clarify or articulate the value of that tool or solution to our team. Then they can follow us, they can engage more effectively into the journey. But if the articulation of the value or the why is not clear, we're gonna go through the numbers of the challenges. So starting with the visual management as a lean tool or as a basic concept of the lean, because it's about the transparency. Yeah, we say that lean is about visibility and transparency. But what is the other why? Why lean thinks that visual management is a right tool, is an effective tool? It's because the visual pictures handle in our brain more effectively and faster. Okay, so what we see, or the visual perception, which is handled by the visual cortex located in the rear of the brain, is extremely fast and efficient. That's why it has been encouraged by Lean to consider this as a concept when we are designing any tool, when we are designing any management approaches. If you want to know that, okay, you have any experiences, or is it something new, or is it quite, challenging to use it? I am sure that already you have got numbers of years of experiences with them. In digital solutions like Microsoft Task Planner, Kanban board, Jira tool, all of them, they are designed using this concept. How many of you are familiar with that, with those tools in the shape of digital? Many of us, we've been working with that, but without realizing that what's the concept behind them. Yeah. So when they, in the organization, for example, they say that we need to use the task planner, but they usually take us and saying that how to use it. This is the board, creating the bucket, creating the list, etc., etc. Rarely it happens to be, to taking us through the whys and explaining about the concept behind these tools. When we know the concept, it's going to be easier for us to understand the value of the tool and keep working with that tool. So to start with that concept to put in practice, I would say that you equip yourself with the planning board. Even you don't want to go with digital solutions, or you have got a team that sometimes they are quite hands-on or physical team, they are not quite digital. Okay, so it's quite easy for you to follow this template and go and back yourself up with a simple board to visibly distribute the tasks, your plan, your milestones, and demonstrating who are the working groups in this area that they can help you with delivering of the milestones. But again, remembering that value and value stream mapping and all of those principles of the Lean. So you need to make sure when you're writing the tasks, what sort of the standard details you need to present. You need to talk about the requirements. You need to talk about the deadline. These two are quite specific criteria for the tasks, or a standard approach for writing effective task details that should be populated to your planning board. Again, feel free to go and download it. There are additional information about how to set up the room, how to practice, what is the process. All of them, they are available in the website. But in terms of, how that visual management concept is going to help you to start with something practical. It is something that for your weekly, even at home, if you are quite challenged with your time and you are planning your trip. So I think that visibly setting up in your room, in your place, is going to help you to overcome all of those challenges. Keeping things in your head, especially if you want someone to collaborate in the journey, it's like a resolution journey. So it's not going to be helpful. So when you set it up nicely, visibly, you can communicate effectively. You can bring better collaboration to place. So let's go to the next one, which is the problem solving. As I said, problem solving canvas has got another name as well, and there is a reason for that. It is usually set up like this in A3 size paper. And that's why it's been referred to the A3 problem solving canvas as well, okay? So let's go to that framework. Why should we use this tool? Because it helps us to strategically stating and defining the problems in a manner that is going to be easy for others, wider groups across the business to understand and comprehend it. Imagine the traditional approach where we do the problem analysis and throw numbers of the paragraphs of text and information into the Word document and then circulate it via email and sending to everyone, and no one has got any interest to read it. We go back to the next meeting and asking that, okay, what's your feedback, where we are at? Did you find that, what's exactly the problem? Because when we look at the problem, it may not be necessarily associated with a specific business unit. We need to have that wider communication to be able to do the root causes analysis, to understand exactly where the problem, what is causing this problem, and how the problem is transferred or affecting the rest of the groups. So that is where we need to practice with a way that we can frame our problem, we can frame our communication about the problem, that anyone else from the other business groups, they're going to be able to comprehend it. As far as they understand the problem, then they can help us with the solution. They can help us with the resolution journey. They can adopt it, they can implement it, and going through the feedback with us. But if we want to just sticking to the traditional approach and just communicating via long paragraphs or sentences, it's going to be very difficult to bringing that level of the engagement and collaboration. And the next one, which is quite interesting tool, when we talk about waste analysis, it's so interesting that in my early days when I was working on the waste analysis in construction industry, talking about the waste, everyone was looking at the rubbish bin. Okay, so they were thinking that what she wants to do with the rubbish. Now, waste in lean practices, or the term waste in the lean culture, refers to any non-value added activities, refers to any source of the inefficiencies that is affecting our productivity level. When lean born originally, it was born in manufacturing, yeah. So they introduced a specific tool called Teamwood. Have you heard about that? Is there anyone familiar with Teamwood? Feel free to
I forgot what the
unmute.
acronym means, but I have heard of it, yes.
Okay. And do you know exactly how it has been implemented? What's the value of that?
So if I'm not wrong, if my memory serves me right, I think this comes from manufacturing processes where we've literally looked at what steps across resources, timelines, materials contribute to non-value added activities. And then you go back to, okay, how do we eliminate or minimize those activities altogether?
Yes, you answered the why. Yeah, so the why is here is to monitor the sources of the inefficiencies and having the opportunity to eliminate it. Finding a plan is like a risk mitigation plan. Okay, we want to have a waste mitigation plan. We want to have minimum waste and minimum inefficiencies. What are the acronyms or the abbreviation? The T in the manufacturing stand for transport, I for inventory, M for motion, W for waiting, double O for overproduction and overprocessing, and D for defects. There are the other version recently, they introduced two aspect of T. On the top of transport, they are introducing talent utilization and as another source of the inefficiencies, because we may hire some people in the wrong role or responsibility that they can't add value to our processes and delivering of the tasks or delivering of the services. So knowing about this Teamwood and the acronyms, do you think that is going to be applicable to any type of the industry? What's your feeling about that? Can we put this version of the manufacturing Teamwood into any other industry? How does that sound? For example, for me, I manage the business intelligence roadmap, and I want to drive the business excellence. Okay, so mainly my focus is on the data and digital ecosystem. So what's the meaning of the transport there? What's the meaning of the inventory there? The language is quite, is not relevant to my field. So that was the point that I realized that in construction, we could adopt the same teamwood concept or the same teamwood as manufacturing in construction. But when it comes to the data and digital transformation, it required us to do more research, understanding how to use the language or how to set up our teamwood that is going to be applicable to this specific area of the digital transformation. As you see here, for example, for T, we have got 3 aspects. Transformation, which means transforming the raw data to actionable insights. Transforming data to required reporting structure or format. The next T is the translation. Translation of business metrics is something that we need to go and have a look at their practices, understand that how effectively business metrics are getting translated in their visualization. And following by T for the transfer of the data, I for integration, M for multiple silos, and the rest of them remain the same because the definition can be adjusted for the purpose of the business intelligence. So how that works, that is set up within the assessment tool, which is our diagnostic tool. We take it to the, to the project, we do the interview, or we ask them to answer the question, and then we run the analysis to understand where are the major problem or major sources of the inefficiencies sitting. Majority of the cases, I would say that is the integration. And the reason is that it's very typical, I guess. So they have got numbers of different digital solutions in different multiple silos that they can't talk to one another. And that is where the data is going to get stuck in the flow. That bad flow or poor integration is going to affect the rest of the journey. They may end up with overprocessing. They may end up with a lot of defects. So that is something for you that if you are going to look out for the teamwood, I want you to remember that it's not always the same original version as the manufacturing is going to be applicable to your work. We had the other version at the very beginning, almost 7 years ago, for the office administration. We were using it, was simpler version comparing to this data and digital ecosystem. Again, the information you can access through the website. Even the assessment at the moment is open if you want to get the sample report, if you are interested to understand more about those inefficiencies that they are getting analyzed. So feel free to use the tool and we generate the report for you. So the last one, which is quite interesting, that's my favorite tool, and that is originally the 5S. Is the acronym or the S in Japanese that I can't be bothered, to be honest, to pronounce my language. So that's why I have got the English version for those 5S here, which stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. I was supposed to follow that framework, giving you the why before talking about the how, but for this one is the exception because I have got the lean game or the activity for you. I'm sure that when we do the activity, so you're going to be able to understand why 5S is critical. I'm sure it is one of the most practical one for you as a BA that you can start using it. So I'm not sure that Elena or Jackie, have you shared the PDF file, or they can follow the screen? I'm sure that is quite visible to everyone. Everyone can follow these numbers on the screen?
Yep.
So this is the beginning of the activity, lean activity related to the 5S. How we go through the activities is going to be run through 4 sheets. So every sheet, Jackie or Elena, they're going to help with the timing, and every sheet, every round of the activity, you are going to have 30 seconds time to go through the numbers and finding the number from 1 to 49 in the right order, not first 49 and then 46 or at the end 1, okay? You need to first finding 1 and then follow the logic, follow the order, go all the way through 49. And what I want you please to record is your score over each round. It means that in the first round, if you find 5 numbers, your score is going to be 5. So second one, again, write down your score. So writing down your score, having the comma in between them, and then when we finish the activity, just press the enter into the chat box. So I would love to see that, your scores, and then talking about the value of the 5S. So everyone is ready for that? Jackie, can we start with the 30 seconds, please?
Yes, so everyone, are you get ready? 3, 2, 1, get started. Five seconds left. Okay, time is up.
Okay, should I move to next one? Is
Yep.
everyone got a score? Just make sure to write your score, remembering your score on the first round. Let's go to the next one and start with the 30 seconds again.
Yep, started. Five seconds left. Okay, time is up.
Moving to the next one. Everyone ready? There we go with the next one.
Yep, started. Five seconds. Time is up.
Okay, and the last one.
Yep, started.
Doesn't seem to be challenging. I think everyone is done already.
Time is up.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for your help. If you are ready, just drop your scores into the chat message, chat box in Zoom. I appreciate it. I want to have a look at your scores. Okay. 7, 7, 12, 49, 3, 7, 13, 49, 8, 15, 19, 49. So you see how you've been improving over the journey, you know, from first slide to the second slide to the third and the last one, which was quite easy and simple. So how that 5 A's worked here, you of sorting it, setting it in order, using the better font or similar font, less bothering with the non-value added information. Because in the first slide, in the first activity, we are asking for the numbers 1 to 49, but we are throwing a lot of unnecessary information on the page for you, okay? So that's why that was slowing down your exercise. So that is where we say that 5 A's is quite important for our lean practices, because we're going to sort and setting things in order and get rid of whatever is not necessary, is not needed, or whatever is not valuable information for our practice. So as you went through the journey, you improved your scores. So that is exactly like optimization journey in our practices. Yeah, so if we are looking up and monitoring for monitoring the inefficiencies and putting that 5S into practice, so we can achieve better results, we can deliver better outcome, we can be more productive and more efficient. So that is all the webinar. And if you have any question and you want to challenge me, I'm here for your questions. Thank you so much for being patient and listening to the webinar. I hand to you, Jackie. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Fahima, for this valuable insights and such a good timing. Such good type control. Okay. And now, sorry, could you stop sharing so I can
Yes.
stop? Yeah. Sweet. Now we're going to jump to our Q&A session. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, sorry. All right. Okay. So is everyone can see my screen? Sweet. So first a question from Taranam asking, how do we identify the bottlenecks in the operation? I guess you're very experienced for this, Fahima.
So that is all about, for example, considering that team root analysis. So that is going to be one of our tools to make sure that we can identify the sources of the inefficiencies. So can you give me a little bit of background of what type of the operation you are talking? I might be able to give you better example, Taranum. So if you want to just unmute yourself and give a little bit of more detail.
I was talking about something called the development of a software, where as a business analyst, where one has to look after what is the development process is going on and where it is lacking,
yeah,
that the team is not working efficiently.
That is the testing phase, yeah? So is that right? At the testing?
Not in the testing front. I'm looking for like something related to the teamwork, where there is many team involved in the development process of a software.
Yes.
So where the team is lacking at what process? Is it in the development team or is it in the testing team, that the product is not coming as per the requirement?
So that is the leading the journey using the open communication and collaboration. So do you use any channel or any specific platform for leading that communication journey about your requirement? How are you communicating your requirement with the development team?
No, I do not use that, but I'm just figuring out how can we utilize that in whatever you taught us.
Yep.
whatever you told us, how can we apply that kind of a thing in our operation if we go for it?
Visual
If we think
management, Tarannah,
yes,
that is going to be the
yes.
best approach, especially in the, I think in the, most of the software development or product design, they use Jira. So Jira has got a lot of good analytical views. So you
Yes.
can, you can definitely analyze the level of the communication and the level of the engagement. So there are numbers of the engagement that is getting missed out. For example, if you look at the analytical dashboard in Jira tool, so that is going to help you to understand where are the bottlenecks. That is more about the communication and engagement in the operational level, because when we talk about the bottlenecks in operation, it could be, different shape and form. So yeah, that's why I wanted to make it clear. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Awesome. I think she asked a really good question. This question is for like how we found out the problem. We can only solve the problem when we really realize where is the problem. Yeah, thank you for your answering this question, Fahime. And next question is, how do you quantitatively measure the inefficiencies in the data and the digital ecosystem? For example, multiple silos.
So if that is referring to the version of the ThemeWood that we have designed and we implement, so it has got the numbers of the research history behind it and the questions that they designed already, they measure and consider all of the sources with the equal impact on the journey. Okay, so we have got the whole of the ThemeWood. Just getting back to my slide, maybe can I just share again, Jackie? Sorry.
No worries.
If I can just go back to the sharing and going here. So this is designed based on 9 areas and all of them equally contributing to 100% of the total inefficiencies. So the questions are designed to achieve the percentages of each of the sources, 9 sources within 100%. Does that give the answer to that question? And each of the question has got 2 or 3 different sections. So already they've been scored and mapped to generate these percentages for these 9 sources of the inefficiencies.
Sweet.
Does that help with the query? I know that was anonymous, but if you want to just answer or asking more question.
Yeah, I'm gonna start sharing again with questions coming. Sweet. So thank you for answering this question. And next, there's a question about the recommendation for further readings on Lean principles basics.
So depending on what industry you are in, construction has got its own Lean construction adoption. If you are in IT, possibly the generic one from Jason Little, I think that's a really good book to have a look at it. So do you want me maybe drop a message, the name of the author?
Oh, yes, please.
I think it is called Lean Change Management. He's a change agent, change advocate. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, next one. In your opinion, what is a key challenge in identifying the inefficiency?
The key challenge is the understanding of the people we are dealing with them. So, for example, in the world of the data and digital transformation, if I want to engage non-technical, which I should engage, it is quite effective and efficient to engage from different groups, not only sticking to the voice of technical people. Okay, most of the time we just focus on the technical people, and we start our journey and we end the journey by engaging technical people, but we forget about non-technical just because it is so challenging to deal with the non-technical people. Okay, so their understanding of our questions, our concerns could be very different. That is the most challenging part of the journey when I take that diagnostic phase on board, kicking off with the diagnostic phase. It's not going to be easy for them to understand and follow the questions. That's why our questions been designed quite simple as possible, but still I would say that I get the request that can you do the one-on-one interview rather than asking them to do the assessment online. Okay, so that's the competency level or the level of the skill set that we are dealing with. They can't help us identifying the inefficiencies.
I guess that's where the places needs to be at. Build a bridge between the technical people and the non-technical people.
Exactly. We need a translator there to connecting them together. Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. So next one, since we can never reach perfection, when we should call it good enough and put our resources somewhere else? That's a really good question.
This is really important. Seeking for perfection doesn't mean that we need to reach the perfection. And I can tell that sometimes being quite perfectionist, it could be a barrier to follow the continuous improvement journey. So when we think about developing of the lean thinking, we have to forget one first things that we need to leave aside is being perfectionist. We seek for the perfection is totally different than being a perfectionist, okay? Because as a perfectionist, idealistic person, you're gonna go through the whole of the challenges without implementing it, without putting it in practice. You want to be perfect to sit here and running the webinar, for example. Yeah, I can't be perfect to come and do the webinar. I started somewhere from minimum level, and then I hear the feedback, I apply the feedback. There is one specific tool here might be quite helpful for you to adopt it in your practices, and understanding that, you know, how to seek for the perfection and where to go for the implementation at what stage. That is the cycle of the PDCA, and that is a stand for plan, do, check, act. Okay, so if you do the planning but you're not doing anything because you're afraid that I'm not perfect yet, my idea is not perfect yet, I don't want to expose it to everyone, so you're never going to be able to check that idea in the real world. Yeah, so you need to do it to be able to check it, and then following with the action and seek the perfection, asking for the feedback and reflecting in the next round of the journey.
I guess it's such a big pain point for a lot of people, for example, me. Thank you for answering that. Really helpful. Okay, thank you for everyone's question, and we kind of run out of time, so maybe we'll just answering all of this question right now. And the next question is, how can we promote lean thinking in our organizations?
Articulating the value of the lean, what you want to create with lean. And I would say that that's our leaders. First, they need to buy the value of the lean thinking. They become the role model, and then they create the followers. Yeah. But how to promote it, again, it is based on clarification and articulating the message around the value of lean. So sometimes we get stuck in the journey at the beginning when we don't have the top tiers of the business supporting us. They become the barriers because they don't have any belief on the lean values. So I would say that that's not the right place for the lean. Okay. So that is straightforward. I would say that lean is not about fighting Lean is about clarification. Lean is about believing on the value. If you put it in practice, for example, for your cooking practice, cooking exercise at home, or for your shopping, yeah, so it means that you are naturally adopting it, and you would be able to articulate the value of Lean. For me, I would say that Lean is here to add value to my roles, to help me to reflect on my journey, to find the opportunities for improvement. Instead of looking at challenges as a barrier, I want to reshape the challenges, opportunities for improvement. So this is the way that you can promote and passing that message to your team, to bringing them together, because that is to support your team and your organization. Always, we have to remember we are articulating the message. We have to remember that is what is the value for our audiences. If it is your team, articulate your message in a way that you are protecting them, you are facilitating the journey for them, you are bringing something to make their life more efficient and more productive.
Thank you. Could implementing Lean mainly with the advance of AI to perform Lean-related tasks?
Could implementing Lean? Not at all. So it doesn't, Lean is getting to use in even software development. If you heard about Nintex, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the ProMap solution, for example, okay? It's already using the Lean concept. So Lean doesn't have anything to clash with the advancement of the technology solutions. Even it is helping the technology solutions to become more advanced. It's the other way around.
I remember I just finished a project management report about to analyze this, why the project management failed, which is one of the reasons is because they were overseeing technology above the real needs. So yeah.
Beyond their needs, exactly.
Yeah. Sweet. Last one question. And any thoughts about the expected increase the use of AI in the future? You think it will create exclusive content, documentation, or going to increase efficiencies?
Depending on, we are talking about who, what organization. So the readiness of the organization, the maturity of the organization is very critical for the adoption of AI. And that is, for example, in my role, when I am encouraging them to use the Lean from the beginning of the journey of the transformation, is because they are going to be ready for the future of the AI. Okay. Future is today, so it's not far away. But again, in terms, I don't see that much potential yet, but is enabling journey for the adoption of AI and adding the efficiencies. Definitely, if we know how to use the artificial intelligence, if we know the why and the value of the artificial intelligence or advanced solution, so we definitely gonna gain more benefit from those advancements. But if we don't know the why, if we are not Lean thinker, so definitely that, advancement of the technology is just the enabler, so it's not going to add that much value.
Yeah, we answered all the questions and we come back to our wrap-up session. So everyone, thank you so much for your participation today and bring such fantastic questions. Well, I really enjoyed that. Hope everyone enjoyed that as like me. And yeah, we also thank you so much, Fahiman, for sharing this valuable insights with us today. And yeah, I think that's all for us today, everyone. And I wish we could see you on our next event, which is coming on the early March. Yeah, we were gonna have a in-person panel talk event in Wellington is coming up. So please follow up our subscribe our YouTube channel and pay attention on our even meetup page. So yeah, see you next time.
Thank you, Fahima.
Thank you so much. Hope
Thank you,
everyone
guys.
enjoyed
Thank you so
it.
much.
Have a lovely
Good night.
evening. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.